Good morning. Welcome to the end of the week. It is Friday. It is December 2nd, 2011. And of course, I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. Now, it is 7:58 a.m. and as you can see, it is rather chilly out there. Temperatures range from the mid-20s to the lower 30s. The warmest locations, of course, will be in your urban locations like New York City and Philadelphia, where temperatures are in the lower to mid-30s, around 35 degrees in Philadelphia, about 33, 34 in New York City. Meanwhile, the rest of the region is, well, rather chilly, with temperatures in the mid to upper 20s. Clearly, winter is here, or at least it's visiting the region for today. And it's not going away anytime soon. I know there's been a lot of talk about the winter not being all that cold and all this other nonsense. My forecast, just so you know, for the winter has not changed, and you can be guaranteed that there will not be about 50 different winter forecasts out with each model guidance. So I'm pretty much staying steady with this forecast for the winter. So let's get today's forecast, which starts out pretty chilly. And look what we have here. This is an area of low pressure. You could tell that because the isobars are getting smaller. The pressure lines, should I say, are getting smaller. 1026, 1024. This is the low pressure system. Here is our cold front. Now the good news about this cold front is that this low pressure system is going to continue to move to the northeast, and there really isn't much in the way of precipitation in the Ohio River Valley. It's called a dry cold front passage, mostly because there really isn't much in the way of moisture in the atmosphere over the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area. So we don't have much to worry about as far as precipitation. In fact, skies are pretty much clear right now, which tells you that there really isn't a lot of moisture out there with this cold front approaching. Looking at the infrared satellite picture, you can see our cold front. And again, notice there really isn't much in the way of clouds. I expect an increase in clouds this afternoon and evening as this cold front moves through. And the big, feature you'll notice with this cold front is an increase in clouds and a wind shift from the southwest or west to the northwest. Other than that, you really won't even notice that this cold front has gone through. After that cold front does move through this evening, high pressure, which is sitting right here, 1035 millibars, a pretty strong high pressure system, will be in control and remain in control throughout this entire weekend, providing seasonable temperatures and tranquil weather conditions. So if you have plans for the outdoors for this weekend, whether you're going to a football game or camping or whatever, you will enjoy excellent weather conditions. However, there's trouble brewing, so let's take a look at the model guidance. Now, I'm using the European model guidance here, and I'm using it because I think it is the best model guidance of all of them. Of course, the number one model guidance I would be using, if I could show it, would be the European Ensemble model guidance, but this is pretty good. I'm going to show you exactly where I think it's going to be a little bit different than what we're seeing on here on the map. So for this weekend, again, high pressure is in control, no threat for precipitation. Our temperatures will moderate by Sunday back into the 50s, but again, nothing significantly above normal like what we saw last week with highs in the upper 60s and so on and so forth. No, this time we're pretty much pushing into the lower to mid 50s at most. Otherwise, most locations will be in the upper 40s. Now, as this high pressure system gives way on Sunday, we'll notice that a cold front will slowly inch towards the northern mid-Atlantic and really the east coast. And you can see in the mid-levels, we have plenty of cold air building over the northern plains. This is a textbook setup for an east-based La Nina. Now, if you're a premium member, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you're not, hey, check it out. You might learn a few things in the premium section. So, moving forward for next week, our trough starts to become established in the east. Our ridge starts to get pushed off towards the Bahamas. I could have swore I said this before. Oh yeah, I did. Notice as we move in through the week, we basically get this southwesterly flow here in the 500 millibar pattern. So what does that mean? That means that our cold front is going to move rather slowly, okay, towards the east coast. Now, there is pretty good agreement as far as this point here by Tuesday night. We have scattered showers moving through the northern mid-Atlantic. Not a widespread heavy rain event at all, but clearly the threat for showers will exist. But we're on the warm side of this boundary. We're on the warm side of the cold front. But look at all this cold air up here. It's rather impressive, and it is dropping south. Now, obviously, it's not going to be 30 degrees below Celsius, negative 30 degrees Celsius, dropping into the northern plains. We'll wait for that until January. But the point is that we have plenty of cold air up there in Canada. As we move later on into the week, we move towards midweek on Wednesday, our cold front will be right along the east coast, and this is where it kind of differs from the operational European and the ensemble European, is that this cold front's a little bit further east, this thermal gradient is a little bit further east, heading more towards the east coast than what we're seeing here. But notice we have plenty of cold Arctic air building into the northern plains. We continue our threat for showers, and by Thursday, you can see the mother low just drops into the plains and the Great Lakes. We have Arctic high pressure building into the Great Lakes and into the northern plains, and that leads our cold front to stall out right off the mid-Atlantic coast, right off the New Jersey coast. And that's going to keep us in a threat for a few scattered showers, I think, on Thursday as well, which again is a bit of a different depiction of what we're seeing with the operational model guidance. This area right here will be closer to here, and as a result, our thermal gradient is going to be a little bit tighter. This right here, the below freezing thermal gradient, will be right along the coast. This is not a snow event. Let me just make that very clear. This is not a snow event, but it does lead to the threat of A, cloudy conditions, overcast skies, a threat for scattered rain and snow showers, but not a accumulating snow event, and clearly a rather raw, cold, and uncomfortable weather pattern setting up for the middle and end of next week. So we're clearly in our step down process. We're moving in the right direction here. We have a trough around the Aleutians, a ridge building over the west coast. Not ideal just yet, but certainly getting there. And our polar vortex is finally consolidated over North America, which is a big change from when it was setting up over Asia. And now what we're waiting for is for it to drop south. That is step 3, or phase 3 of the step down process that I've been advertising. We'll get there, don't worry. Winter is not over, not by a long shot. We haven't even started yet. So that is your forecast for December 2nd, 2011. I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. Of course, you can follow the latest weather information at nynjpaweather.com and nynjpaweather on Twitter and Facebook. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe out there.